$800 billion. That's what 5 companies are about to spend this year alone just on infrastructure behind AI. And while that number is getting bigger every single quarter, almost nobody watching this video has a single dollar of exposure to it. That is hundreds of billions of dollars already committed and being built out right now here in real time, while most other people are chasing whatever popular meme stock that popped off on their video feed last week. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 industries that I genuinely believe will create more new millionaires over the next 10 years than anywhere else in the entire market. And if you watch this video and walk away doing absolutely nothing, that is genuinely on you, because what I am about to show you today is the kind of thing that you stumble upon at once and you either act on it or you spend the next 10 years wishing you had. Now, I'm going to show you exactly where the momentum is right now, which specific companies are already moving because of all of that, and how you could start positioning yourself today, even if all you have is a small amount of money to work with. So here's exactly what I'm going to cover here today. First, I'm going to show you exactly what's driving the momentum behind the 3 industries that I think is still early. Then these specific stocks already moving in each space and the ones that I am personally watching. And after that, I'm going to explain how someone with little to no money can start positioning themselves today. And then finally, my honest take on how I think all of this is going to be playing out over the next decade. Right now, somewhere in Virginia, Ohio, or Texas, a construction crew is pouring concrete for a building the size of several football fields. And inside that building, there will be nothing but servers and power equipment and cooling systems running around the clock. That is the first industry that I want to talk about. The AI infrastructure. And I don't just mean the chips that everyone already knows about. I mean the power, the cooling, the networking, and the memory that actually has to exist for AI to run at the scale that companies are promising. Tech giants like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Oracle are projected to spend somewhere around $800 to $900 billion combined on capital expenditure in 2026. That spending growth has just been revised up 61% year over year to 79%. And here's the part that really proves that the demand is real. Microsoft has an $80 billion backlog of Azure orders that it cannot fill. And that's not because customers stop buying it. It's because there isn't enough electricity to power the servers that is already sitting in the warehouses. Customers are lined up and they're paying, and the companies still can't get it up, which tells you this isn't all about hype. This is a genuine supply problem that's happening in the middle of the massive demand of explosions. And that demand for electricity is what pulls these secondary industries straight into this story, because someone has to actually generate the power for all these data center needs. Tech companies have signed contracts of more than 10 gigawatts of new nuclear capacity in the next year alone. And Meta's deal with Constellation, Vistra, Oklo, and TerraPower could deliver up to 6.6 gigawatts of nuclear power over the next decade. But none of that power is actually online yet. These deals are signed and the money is committed, but most of these plants are not expected to come online until 2030 or even later. And the market has not repriced any of this yet because the cash flow has not started in yet. The contracts exist, but the biggest moves usually happens when that exact gap between when something is promised and when that is actually delivered. Then there's the third industry, and I think of it as the most interesting one precisely because it's the most unproven. Quantum computing right now has essentially no companies generating meaningful revenue from this technology itself. IonQ is considered one of the leaders within this space, and they did about $130 million in revenue in 2025, which sounds a lot until you realize that the company's value is well over $20 billion in market cap. That is a stock trading nearly at 100 times sales, which is practically the same valuation as SpaceX, which we all know is one of the most overvalued companies on Earth. So most experts, including IBM and Google, point to 2030 as the earliest realistic window for true quantum advantage, which basically means the point where quantum computer actually beats the classical computer on something that actually matters economically. Until that happens, every dollar that flows into quantum stocks right now is a bet on that story, not a bet on the results. Look, normally I would tell you to stay far away from something like this, but once quantum advantage arrives, even in just 1 or 2 industries like medicine or finance, the value that gets unlocked could be enormous. And the companies working with those products when that happens could be some of the most valuable companies on Earth almost overnight. But for now, stay away from it until we actually get a little bit closer to a viable commercial usage. So now that you see what's actually driving all of this, there are already stocks that have moved a lot since this whole thing started picking up. So now I'm gonna break down what has already popped off and which ones I personally believe has the most room to run. On the power and cooling front on the AI infrastructure side, Vertiv is one of the cleanest ways to play this whole trend. Their backlog grew over 100% last year to roughly around $15 billion. And their orders jumped over 250% as demand for their equipment took off across the industry. GE Vernova is another name that constantly comes up and I personally like. Their total backlog sits at $163 billion and they already have their turbines slotted and booked into 2030 and beyond, which basically means they know what their revenue is going to be looking like for years to come. And what I like most is that they win both sides. They make their turbines that generates the power and they make the equipment that delivers it. So they're not stuck depending on just one piece of this build out. Their purchase of Prolock GE also added about $5 billion to that backlog almost overnight. And then there's Eaton, which makes the electrical equipment that connects all the power grids to the data centers. Their backlog now covers roughly 12 years of data center build out at the current pace. And the deals that they're working on are up about 81% from last year alone, which basically tells you that the next round of growth is already lining up before it even shows up in their earnings. They're also testing out new transformer technology with the big tech companies right now, which real orders are expected to be in late 2026 for delivery in 2027. And one thing I really like about Eaton is that they have already made products for planes and cars and factories. So even if the data centers spending slows down for maybe a quarter or two, holding the stock still makes sense to me. Here's a few more names worth noting. Powell Industries, they trade around 30 times next year's earnings, and they just landed a single order worth more than $400 million. So with that work already lined up through 2028. And their balance sheet looks really strong with more cash than debt, and I think the stock simply hasn't caught up to how much the business actually has coming up. Credo is growing over 200% right now with guidance of over 80% growth next year, though the stock is priced relatively high already. Next, we have Astra Labs, which is entirely built around AI with profit margins of near 76%. But the stock is priced as if nothing could go wrong, so there's not much room for error. And Coherent already has orders lined throughout 2028, and their data centers and communication business is up 41% from last year. They have a partnership with NVIDIA and profit margins are turning around under new leadership. And on top of that, they just got added to the S&P 500. I do want to mention that none of these companies in this group are as risky as Quantum, so these are solid businesses that have confirmed revenues in their pipelines. On the nuclear side, Constellation Energy and Vistra are two names that keep popping up because both have signed long-term power deals directly with big tech companies. Vistra alone signed a 20-year deal with Meta covering 3 of its nuclear power plants while adding new capacity on top of that. And then there's Oklo, which is a little bit more speculative and early stage within this space. This one isn't generating real revenue just yet, but it is already building out an order book of over 14 gigawatts, including a deal with Meta to build out 1.2 gigawatt nuclear site near Ohio. This one is a bet on the future, not the present, but it's exactly the kind of early stage exposure that can pay off big if the company actually delivers. And then there's Quantum. IonQ is still a name that everyone really talks about, mainly because it brings in more revenue than any other pure quantum company out there, even if the stock is priced way ahead of its revenues. This is the one space where I actually say is a safer move in the future, I would say. So if you want any exposure at all, maybe a super small position or an ETF rather than betting on just one company itself, simply because no one knows yet which technology or which company will actually win. Now, let me talk about what you can actually do with all this information, because knowing the trends means absolutely nothing if you don't know how to act on it. And the answer is not the same for all 3 industries. For the AI infrastructure, you don't need to find the next NVIDIA. A small, consistent monthly investment, even if it's just $50, $100, $200 a month, into a fund or a basket of these companies that we talked about, lets you ride this wave without betting everything in one company. And here's why I keep saying consistency matters the most. This is what we call dollar cost averaging, and it just means that you simply put the same amount every single month, no matter what the price is doing. Some months you buy a little bit higher, some months you buy a little bit lower, and then over time it just sort of evens out. So you're not stuck trying to guess the perfect time to buy or when to sell or whatever it might be, which almost nobody actually gets right. If you wait around trying to time the bottom on something like GE Vernova or Eaton, you'll probably just watch it climb without you. Putting in the same amount every single week or month skips all of that, and it's the easiest habit to stick to since you're not doing anything at all. You just set it and forget it, and then boom. For energy and nuclear, the smallest move for someone with limited capital is to treat it as if it's a long-term investment rather than a trade. This will play out over years as construction milestones get hit and signed deals actually start generating revenues closer to 2030. And if you believe that AI demand is not slowing down, which I personally believe so, the companies providing the electricity behind it might be the ones that are most overlooked ones to benefit from this entire AI boom without ever owning an AI company directly. Quantum is where I tell most people starting out to be most careful, and honestly, just to probably wait. I would personally avoid buying into the hype right now because you are paying a steep discount for a story that has not been proven yet. In fact, the technology has not been proven yet. So what I would do instead is to keep it on your radar and watch it for the moment that the commercial revenues actually start showing up, because that is usually right when the hype temporarily dies down before the real money starts flowing in. That dip after the hype cools off is historically one of the better opportunities to get in. And if you are patient enough and wait for it to drop down, Quantum could end up being one of the highest reward opportunities out there. It's just not one of the safer ones to jump into as of right now. So here's roughly how I would split a small amount of money across all three. AI infrastructure gets the biggest place, since those companies are already profitable with real backlogs. Nuclear gets a smaller, patient slice, since the upside is real, but it does take years to show up. And then Quantum, if you want to touch it at all, get the smallest piece by far, and that is where you'll put your money that you genuinely would not be upset about losing. So here's my honest take, because I think this is what makes the video worth coming back to in a few years. I don't think the people who build the real wealth over the next decade are going to be the ones who bought whatever AI chip stock that was trending back in 2025 or even 2026. I think the millionaires in the next cycle mostly comes from the boring side of the story. I'm talking about the power companies, the grid operators, the nuclear facilities, and the infrastructure behind all of this. And it's the infrastructure companies that no one is talking about right now because they're not exciting on social media. And when Quantum finally becomes real and viable and commercially viable, probably closer to 2030s, I think the people who waited patiently through the boring stretch when nothing seems to be happening are going to look like geniuses looking back. AI infrastructure spending is accelerating. They're not slowing down by any means. Nuclear power is signed but not yet delivered, which means the real value has not been priced in. And Quantum is just pure hype today, but the technology behind it advancing towards a breakthrough that the market has not figured out how to price it at all. The people who position themselves today, right now, even with a small amount of money, and who has waited patiently to let those stories play out over the next couple of years instead of the weeks, are the ones that I think that will look back on the same way that the people look back at real estate or technology stock back in the 2010s. Look, write this down, come back to this video in 10 years from now, and let me know if I was right. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and I will see you in the next one.